Students, so we are going to solve in this particular session extra question based on real numbers. Okay, so starting from exercise 1.1 you have learned about HCF, and using Euclid's division lemma you have also proved show that square of positive integer, cube of positive integer, blah blah blah, such type of questions, right? So more sums of extra sums also will solve based on that. First one, find the HCF of 300, 540, 890 by applying Euclid's algorithm. You have already learned HCF, okay, of two numbers. How to find HCF of two numbers by Euclid's algorithm. Now, HCF of three numbers by Euclid's algorithm, let me just show it so that even if it is asked for three numbers by Euclid's algorithm, you should be able to solve. If it is asked by prime factorization method, so you all know, right? So I am showing by Euclid's algorithm method how to solve it. Now to find the HCF of three numbers, first select any two numbers. Any two numbers you select. Find the HCF of that two numbers. And then whatever answer you get, the HCF of the two numbers, that HCF and the third number. That HCF and the third number, again you find the HCF of that two numbers. You will get the HCF of three numbers. I repeat, to find the HCF of three numbers, select any two numbers. Order is not important. Any two numbers you can select. Find the HCF of that number. Then that number and the third number will give you the HCF of three numbers. Okay, let's solve it. So find the HCF of 300, 540 and 890 by applying Euclid's algorithm. So I select the first two numbers, 300 and 540. Okay, so let's solve here. So I'll divide it, okay, in front of you. So 540 is bigger, so I'll write it inside the dividend. So 300 into 2 is 600. So here ones are, let's put a line here. Ones are, so here 300. So here we get 0, 4, 2, correct? So 240, here 300, 240 ones are again because 2 will go more than 4, right? So 0, 6, correct? Then again here, okay, here 240 and 4s are 240. So we got very easily the HCF of this 540 and 300, that is 60, because 60, the divisor, is a HCF of the two numbers. I hope you know this, so I went very fast. So we just divided, the remainder becomes the divisor becomes the dividend, correct? So here we got the remainder as 60, the 60 remainder becomes the divisor and the divisor becomes your dividend, correct? So we got the HCF as 60, HCF of two numbers. So let's jot it down. So 540 we have written as 300, that is, A equal to B into Q. So our Q is 1 plus R. Our R was 240. So I'm just rubbing, correct? And then we have, this becomes your A, that is 300, and our B is now 240. So 240 into 1 and you got the remainder 60. Now 240, that becomes your A, and your R remainder becomes your B, that is 4 plus 0. So by Euclid's division algorithm we got this, right? Now we continue. I'm rubbing this so that it doesn't look clumsy. Okay, so here R is 0, since R equal to 0, therefore we can say HCF of 240 and 60. Sorry, it's not wrong, I said the correct one because I wrote 240 and 60. So 240 and 60, HCF is also 60. Okay, I'll just write and then I'll just say. So that was not wrong what I said. See, when we find the HCF of 540 and 360, can I say HCF of 240 and 60 is also 60? Yes. Here the condition holds. HCF of 300 and 240 is also 60. See, we are continuing the division till we get HCF of 500 and 300 is also 60. So here the A is 300 and B is 640. So what is the HCF here? 60. Correct? HCF of 300 and 240 is also 60. HCF of 240 and 60 is also 60. So you continue, you will get this same answer. Correct? So here we got that HCF of 540 and 300 is 60. Now we have to find the three number. The third number is 890. So to find the HCF of all the three numbers, we'll take the HCF of 60 and 890. Therefore, now let's find HCF of, so we are finding the HCF of 60 and 890. So first we selected two numbers, found the HCF. Now that number, that HCF and that number and the third number, these two numbers HCF will give the HCF of three numbers. So let's find. So 60 and 890 we have to write. Let's divide again. So 890 and this is 60. Let's divide. So 60 ones are 60. Here ones are. Okay. So we get here 290. 60 4s are 240, 5s are 300. So 4s are, so we got 240. Here we divide, here subtract, so 50. So 50 is your remainder, which becomes a divisor, and the divisor becomes a dividend. So 50 ones are 50, and here we get 10. 10 is a remainder, which becomes a divisor, and here 50, which is a divisor, becomes a dividend. So 10 5s are 50. So you get the ultimate answer. HCF of three number is 10. So let's write it down. So here we will write here 890 is your A, your B is 60. So 60 into 14, you got the remainder as 50, correct? Then 60 equals to 50 into 1 plus 10, correct? Now again 50 you took, 10 5s are, is a divisor here, 10 plus 0. So therefore here we can say, I just draw this, right? You can do this division, right? But this is more important. But since R is 0, therefore HCF of 60 and 890 is also 10. So similarly here, just as I said, you can say HCF of 890 and 60 is also 10. HCF of 60 and 50 is also 10. HCF of 50 and 10 is also 10. Find it out. Do it out and find out. Right? Now therefore, so first we found out HCF of these two numbers. Then that number, what we got 60, and the third number we got the HCF. Now this 10 is representing the HCF of all the three numbers. Therefore, HCF of 300, 540, 890 is equal to 10. I hope now you understood how to find the HCF of three numbers by using Euclid's algorithm. Correct? Now moving to the next sum. Now this kind of sum statement problems which you did in exercise 1.1, the same we are doing, but the only difference is that if it comes for only for 1 mark, like for the board exam from 16, question number 16 to 20 are 1 mark only. We have 20 MCQs, sorry 21 marks question. In that 1 to 10 are your MCQ type where you have to pick up the alternative. 11 to 15 are filling the blanks, and 16 to 20 where you have to solve and get the answer. In that for 1 markers, board does not expect more steps. Simple steps, okay, and how to get the marks. That is the aim. Now just see here. See the second question. Product of two consecutive positive integer. Product of two consecutive positive integer is divisible by 2. Is this statement true or false? And justify your answer. That's it. Right? So how we know? Now let's understand first. Now if you take any, let's take consecutive integers 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we all know that 1 is odd, 2 is even. Odd, even. So we know that this pattern, 1 will be odd, next will be even. Odd, even, this pattern follows. Correct? And if you take the product of this, if you take the product of any two consecutive integer, it will be always divisible. Always be divisible by 2. Always be divisible by 2 means it will always be even. Why? Because even number multiplied by odd number will give you even number. You must have learned this property in the lower classes. Oh, just fine. Even into odd will always be even. Correct? So here we can just say for this, justify, is the statement true or false? So first question should be, you should write true. Is the statement true or false? Yes, true. Now you are justifying, because you say that product of any two consecutive integers, if you take n and n plus 1, let the two consecutive integers be n and n plus 1. That, or you don't have to take this also, you just say that true, whenever you take two consecutive integer, any two consecutive integers, one will be even, one number has to be even, and other will be odd. And product of even and odd will always be even. Therefore, product of two consecutive integer is always divisible by 2. I hope this is clear. Again I repeat. You just have to say whether it is true. Yes, it is true. Why? Because if you take any two consecutive integer, one will be divisible by 2. Why? Because one will be even and other will be odd. And product of even and odd will always be even. Therefore, product of two consecutive integers is divisible by 2. Hope you have understood. This is very fair enough. For 1 marks and 2 marks, you can write this and score marks. Correct? I hope when this comes for 3 marks and 4 marks, you know how to solve it. A quick recap: A equal to BQ plus R, where A equal to 2Q plus R, you will write 0 less than equal to R less than equal to 2. Correct? You will get two cases. Either A will be 2Q or A will be equal to 2Q plus 1. If you want to say that product of two consecutive, so A is 2Q, so next number will be A plus 1, that is 2Q plus 1. So A into A plus 1 if you do, so 2Q into 2Q plus 1, that is 2 into, therefore it is divisible by 2. 2 into you are writing, that is divisible by 2. Correct? Similarly here A plus 1 will give you 2Q plus 1 plus 1, that is 2Q plus 2. So if you take 2 common here, this Q plus 1. So again A into A plus 1 if you do, again it will be divisible because 2 into you write, that means divisible. I hope this you understood. My aim was for 1 markers and 2 markers. I hope you have understood this. Coming to the next sum. Product of 3 consecutive integers. This also I have solved for you. Right? As for 3 mark and 4 marks, if it comes, how you are going to write. Now if it comes for 1 marks and 2 marks, how you are going to write. For 1 marks, let's see for 1 marks. Product of 3 consecutive integer is divisible by 6. Is the statement true or false? Justify your answer. Let's take any 3 consecutive integers. Any 3. Let's take now, I'll just write 4, 5, 6. I have already showed. But just for your reference, suppose we take this. 2 into 3, 6. Right? So it is divisible by 6. Let's take 3, 4, 5. 3 4s are 12. So it is divisible by 6. Yes. So again you see the pattern. Here we see, if I take suppose 3, 4, 5. In this, out of this 3 consecutive integer, 1 will be a factor of 2. Can you see? 4, it is even number. So why? Because it is divisible by 2. So it has a factor of 2, or it is divisible by 2. And 1 will be divisible by 3. 1 will be divisible by 2 and 1 will be divisible by 3. Why this pattern? This you know that when B is 3, when the divisor is 3, we have 3 possible reminders: 0, 1, 2. So 3 here, when you take a pair of 3, set of 3 consecutive integer, one number will be definitely a factor of 2 or divisible by 2, and one number will be definitely divisible by 3. And when you take the product of 2 and 3, it will be divisible by 6 also. Let's take another there. Suppose take 6, 7, 8. Okay, another set of consecutive. Next step. So here we say this is even, divisible by 2. Here 6, divisible by 3. So therefore, the product of this also will be divisible by 6. Okay, so here we say that when we take the product, so here the answer will be yes, true it is for 1 marks. True, since product of 3 consecutive integer, one number that is one integer has to be divisible by 2 or factor of 2, and the other number will be also a factor of 3. Out of the 3 numbers, one will be a factor of 2, or one number will be divisible by 2 and the another number also will be divisible by 3. So obviously it will be divisible by, the product of them will also be divisible by 6. Why? Because the test of divisibility of 6 says if a number is divisible by 2 and if the number is divisible by 3, then the number is divisible by 6. So here we are using the test of divisibility and getting the answer for 1 marks. You just have to write true, because out of 3 numbers, one will be divisible by 2, one number will be divisible by 3. Therefore, the product of this 2 and 3 numbers will also be divisible by 6. I hope this is understood to you. Okay. One more extra sums also will be solving. Here, prove that here, because we have done this kind of sums also, prove that root 2 plus root 3 is irrational. Now this kind of sums are not there in the textbook, but here again this is for 3 marks. 3 marks or 2 marks, how to solve. Prove that root 2 plus root 3, both the numbers are irrational. Again, I am telling you, this question will only come for 3 marks only. Don't get confused if it comes for 4 marks and this. If it comes for 4 marks also, never it has come. Suppose it has come for 4 marks. You prove the theorem of root 2 as an irrational, like a theorem, and you write similarly we can prove root 3 also irrational. Okay, by chance it has come for 4 marks. It has never come, but if it comes for 4 marks, some students have suppose it comes for 4 marks, then you prove either root 2 or root 3, any one of them you prove as irrational. Okay, like a theorem that we write, take it as a and b square both the sides, and we prove that they are not co-prime, right? That pattern you prove, and then you say similarly we can prove, suppose we prove root 2 as irrational, similarly we can prove root 3 also as irrational, and sum of two irrational numbers is also an irrational number, that way. Now I am showing if it comes for 3 marks, then how we are going to move on. So if we are going to say for the 3 marks, the same pattern we will assume that for 3 marks, again I said, for that in the previous video also I said that if it comes for 3 marks, we know the fact that root is irrational and root 3 is irrational. We have to take into consideration that we know the fact that root 2 is irrational or root 3 is irrational. And now here in both the cases we know that they are irrational. Knowing this fact we are solving. Okay. So here we will go by contradiction method the same way. Let us assume that root 2 plus root 3 is rational. So if it is rational number, then we can write in the form of p upon q, right? So therefore root 2 plus root 3 equal to p upon q or a upon b, anything, p upon q, where p and q are co-prime integers and blah blah, and q not equal to 0. Now in this case, either you take root 2 on that side. See, in that case what we did, and this for 3 markers, we say I have specified that you have to keep the root on one side and take the remaining terms on this side. Now in this case you will ask both are root, then what you will take? Okay, you take any number. So for example, I take root 2 on this side. So what you get here, root 3 equal to p upon q minus root 2. Now in this kind of sum, you just have to get rid of one root and keep only one root on one side, because we know that root 2 and root 3 are irrational. So our aim in this case is to prove that we have to prove this root 2 plus root 3 irrational, right? But we know the fact that root 2 and root 3 are irrational. Now two irrational numbers are getting confused, right? So you just see that you get rid of one root 2 sign and only one root sign is there, since we have root on both the sides, right? So here we will square on both the sides. Okay, so if you square on both the sides, this will be in the form of identity a minus b the whole square, and the root sign will go, correct? But one middle sign AB will be there, where you will have the root sign, and here also the root sign will be there. What is our aim? Our aim is that we should have only one root sign. Okay, so here we are squaring on both the sides. So when you square on both the sides, just see what you get. So just see whether our aim is fulfilled. So when you square on both the sides, so root 3 ka square, and here this is in the form of a minus b the whole square. You can take LCM or we can do afterwards. Okay, so here root 3 square is 3. Here this is a minus b, so a square minus 2ab, so p upon q into root 2, and plus you get here root 2 square is 2, correct? Now once we get, now our aim is that this root 2 will keep on one side and the rest all the numbers on the other side. Now since this is negative, I will take this term this side. Okay, so I will use this part of the board. I am taking this term this side and taking 3 this side. So this from right hand side, I am bringing this term to the LHS. So I will get here 2p upon q into root 2. I hope this is understood. This minus I am making it positive by taking it to LHS, and this 3 I am taking this side. So what will remain here? We get p square upon q square plus 2 and minus 3. Plus 2, this is minus 3. So here we have 2p upon q into root 2. Here it is minus 1. P square upon q square minus 1. I will take here LCM, right? So this becomes proper. Now my aim is that I should have only root 2. This term 2p upon q, when it goes here, becomes reciprocal. So here it is q upon 2p, correct? As my aim is that what we did in the previous sum in exercise 1.3, we had seen that for 3 markers that root should be done one side and all the terms on the side. So when we had 2 root, right, 2 here, we have taken 1. Either you take root 2 or root 3, anyone. Square on both the sides. See that we have only one root. So only one root remains. Take it on a positive side note and bring all the terms. Here see, we are left with root 2. Now this 2p upon q, when it goes here, becomes q upon 2p. See, something cancels here. So we are getting root 2 equals to p square minus q square upon 2pq. Now we again have the same argument. P and q are integers. Therefore p square minus q square upon 2pq is a rational number. If this is rational, therefore root 2 is also rational. But this contradicts the fact that root 2 is an irrational number. Therefore root 2 plus root 3 is an irrational number. Correct? You all just go through this. I hope this is very simple. You just have to understand that the same fact we are using, just take on the other side and square on the both the sides. Why we are doing squaring? So that we get rid of the root sign and we have only one root, and we know the fact that it is irrational. I hope you have understood. Please go through it and understand it. Thank you.